Well, welcome everybody. I am Steve Grubbs, your host of the Victorystore Yard Decoration Rental Business Podcast interview. And today we have a very special guest, Tricia Reese from St. Louis, Missouri, which if you're watching beyond the borders of the United States is right in the middle of the country on the Mississippi River. So Tricia, tell us a little bit, first of all, what is the name of your yard decoration rental business?
We are Happy House Cards.
Happy House Cards. And let's talk a little bit about your origin story. Every good superhero, every good super business has an origin story. So how long have you been working in this business?
Our official first sign was Valentine's Day of last year.
So you've got 12 months under your belt, and is it safe to say that you're still in business?
Yes. Yeah, it's safe to say that.
Good. That's good because, about half of all new businesses fold within the first 12 months. So you have surpassed the first hurdle. Congratulations on that.
Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah, we're doing good.
80% in the first 5 years. So, we have obviously Victorystore. We're in our 23rd year, I think. So we're trying to keep it going as well. So tell me, why in the world would you want to get involved in this type of business?
Well, my husband was wanting to come up with, kind of a side job that would bring in maybe, I don't know, 5,000 to 10,000 a year, just something to do on the side. And he would pitch something at me like a food truck or anything he would throw my way. It just seemed too involved. And he's a high school principal and was talking to a coworker who has some friends that do this type of business. This is their fourth year. They're more in the city of St. Louis. And they're also educators, and they were making about 10,000 a year. And I thought, that's a pretty. He was showing me the starter kits about how much they run, and I thought, I'm not a risk taker. He's more the risk taker, and to me that seemed like a very manageable risk if it didn't take off. So I also am a very creative person, and it sounded like a nice creative outlet in a way to bring happiness to people, just something different. I was needing something different.
Sure.
To add.
So you've led me to two questions then.
Okay.
Number one, roughly, you don't have to give us the exact number, but roughly how much did you spend in your initial launch of the business then?
Initially, it was right around 2,000.
Okay.
Starter kit, we added a couple of other sets, with our Mike got the website going and that kind of thing. It was roughly 2,000.
Okay, great. And understanding that year two should be more profitable than year one, did you reach your goal of 5,000 to 10,000 in year one?
Yeah. The first 2 months we were. I remember my husband saying this was a mistake because we literally February and March of last year, I think we had 5 paying orders. And then COVID hit. In April, we did 128 signs.
Wow.
And May hit, and we did 186 signs. So we went from 2 months of 5 signs to the third month, and then the fourth month. April and May were complete insanity. And that's when we just had basically the starter kit. So it was quite a challenge. I mean, talk about being thrown into the fire. We were. So
just thinking about about that real quick. If you average, what do you average per sale? $75, $100?
That's what we charge. We charge $75. We'll travel up to 20 miles. And an additional day, I just charge 25. So most of our orders are 1-day orders.
So you must have broken even on your initial investment by the end of March. So to break even, you'd be somewhere around 27 setups.
Yeah, something like that.
By
April for sure. Yeah, March we weren't.
Okay, so April. Yeah, I can tell you when COVID happened, as you may recall, if you did business with us, it broke our business model, and we quickly invested $1 million in new machines, new cutting machines, new printing machines to be able to dig ourselves out of the hole. And we had a lot of unhappy customers, and we apologized for months, but it just. But, it was a once in a lifetime deal, and we all went through it together. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's get down to some really important questions. So first of all, lesson number one, I think that I've picked up already, is that with or without COVID, you're probably going to start slow and build up.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay. Next question. What have been the best 2 or 3 marketing tools that you have used to get the word out on your business?
Okay, well, before my phone started blowing up, I think it was the last day of March, we did a free sign for one of my husband's coworkers, and she lives in a very large subdivision that's just down the street. And a lot of the subdivisions around here, probably the same where you live, they have Facebook pages just for their subdivision. Mm-hmm. And another family saw their sign, their post, and hired us. And when they posted that little girl's sign, we got over 10,000 hits. It was crazy. And I honestly believe that sign right there, I mean, that was a paying customer, but it was stemming off of a free one that we did in this huge subdivision. From that moment on, I could not keep up with my phone. So,
what a great feeling! It's like
crazy.
We are printing money this month.
Yeah.
So I often have thought, and I want to get back to your other marketing ideas in a moment, but I have often thought that it could be a good idea to. I know some gated communities allow this type of thing, and some have regulations that you can't have these types of signs up. Okay. Most seem to allow it.
Yeah, I don't that at all.
You've not run across. Okay, good. Yeah. I've often thought that it would almost be of value to knock on the door of one of the first 3 or 4 homes in a gated community and just offer them one for free for 3 days, and just say, whatever you want, and just here, give me a call, and then put it up, and that everybody has to go in that gate. Mm-hmm. So if there's 1,000 people that live back there, you're going to have literally 1,000 people who see your free advertising. So, the other thing that I encourage people to do is, if you can go, most state Department of Transportations, I bet you every single one, will give you a list of how much traffic goes on each road. So you can actually look and say, okay, there are, like, for example, one of the roads that I've used for this type of thing in the past, there are 15,000 cars that drive on that road a day. So in 10 days, that's 150,000 eyeballs. In a month, 450,000 eyeballs. So if you put up a sign just for a week, you're going to get close to close to 100,000 eyeballs on your setup. So those are some of the things to think about. You just need to make sure that people can see. A lot of people will stop and slow down to see what company it is. But I think that's a great idea is your placement.
Oh yeah.
What else?
Right.
What else have you done that has worked well?
right off the bat, other than our website, I set up a business page on Facebook. I also set up a VIP page on Facebook. So it was a lot of word of mouth that way. Customer service is so key. Like, just making sure that, okay, here's my process. And I think I should be contacting, I get the order on my calendar. So that contact is made. And then the day that I'm going to set it up that night, I text them and say, I'll be out tonight. When I try and give them a time frame. Sometimes I text them 15 minutes before I get there. As soon as I'm done, I stand back and I take a picture and I text it to them so that they know they can sleep well that night knowing that it's there. They're not worrying all night, did she show up? And so that's kind of my process. I let them know, I'll be back after dark the next day to pick it up. But I have said this so many times, the renter, this is as much about the renter as it is the recipient. They get so excited. The mom, the grandma, the friend, whoever it is that is purchasing this card is so excited, and they can't wait for me to text them that picture. And so for them, I think for them, this is as much fun as it is for the person that gets up the next morning and has the surprise.
Yes.
So, I mean, really, I and I always say, you can get a good picture. You'll have this keepsake, this memory. So it's fun for me, because I love getting those texts back, and not everyone texts back all excited, but I would say 95% do. And it's better than I expected, or OMG, this is perfect. This, and it just makes you feel good. Right. They're excited. They can't wait for their person to see it in the morning. So it's especially in the days that we're living in, it's just a really satisfying, gratifying job.
I always say we are in the business of happiness, and I love that.
I've been called sign fairy, the sign lady. People have like I'm Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny type, showing up at night, and then they've got this surprise in the morning. So that's fun. What
about your husband is principal at a school. Have you done anything at the school so far?
Yes, we have several schools in our district, and I've been hired multiple times for, we love our teachers, welcome back signs. Our principal over here at the elementary just turned 50, so his wife ordered a sign to be put up. I've done several signs for our school district. I've done some free ones. Before we got real busy, I was doing some free ones over here at our local elementary. It's just a half mile down the street. So, but most of them since have been paying signs.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. One of your best marketing budget items is to do a few free ones now and then. And that kind of exposure makes a difference.
Yeah.
Do you have a marketing budget? Do you spend any money on marketing through Facebook or something else?
No, you can boost posts on Facebook. I think I've done that once.
So all word of mouth so far.
Yeah, we've hardly spent any money on that.
And talk to me about the categories of setups. Everybody does birthdays. What percentage of setups would you say are birthday related?
95%.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. So it's all about the birthdays. What are the other 5%?
Well, we have a ton of letter inventory. So I can do about any message you want, but I would say the next biggest, there was a season where it was graduations. And I did order some sets from Victorystore that were specific to graduation, and then I added to those, like added their name and that kind of thing. But I've done happy retirements. We've got a girl set, a baby girl set up, a baby boy set up. We've got a Mr. and Mrs. that just married set up. But honestly, I've only used that 2 or 3 times. I don't know. Maybe my second business is it's a boy or it's a girl and happy retirement. But it is mostly birthdays.
In an average week now, I mean, I know it's winter and we're all cold, and so my guess is you probably do, our experience with most customers is they do fewer in the winter, more in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
But during these cold months, how many setups would you be doing per week, roughly?
Well, we're averaging 50 to 60 per month right now.
Okay. All right. That's a lot.
I'm thanking God. This is the slowest week we've had since we started at 5. I'm just so thankful because we're having to use stands. I mean, the ground is just frozen solid and it's just miserable to be out. So we have 2 tonight. We have 1 for the next few nights in a row. So it's slowed way down. Last week I had 17. The week before that I had 20. So this weather has caused us to almost come to a screeching halt, but I needed a break. I'm totally.
Let's talk about that because one of the when I teach entrepreneurs, sometimes I'll do some talks and such. I always talk about the philosophy of build up, build under. So as you may or may not know, I've got 4 different companies, and if I were doing it all myself, I couldn't do it. So many of you might work with Patty or Spencer or Trevor or any of our Victorystore sales people, and I can only do it because they are the build under. It seems like most of the businesses, yard decoration businesses that I talk to, have some sort of way that they hire others to do part of those setups. Are you doing any of that yet? Do you have children or friends or retired friends?
We needed a break after last April and May. So we went to the Smokies for a week, and I hired a good friend of mine and her teenage daughter to take that week that we were off. And we have a 21-year-old daughter who she doesn't like doing it. So she's helped us a little bit, but we're getting ready to be gone here for a couple nights. I'm getting ready to turn 50. Yay. So we're getting away for a couple nights, and then we're going to be gone over spring break. And I honestly don't think I'm going to take orders for that time, because even when I'm away and someone else is doing it, I can't relax. So
really? You're a bit of a perfectionist, aren't you?
Very much. And that's my problem, but that's just how it is. That's how I am. So for me to actually be able to take a true break from the business, I think I'm not going to hire someone to cover for us.
Well, and that's the beauty of what you can do. You can just block out time on your calendar where you're not doing them. And I assume there are others in the area that people can use.
Yeah. And there's the risk you run of, then we have so many repeat customers. Right. Oh my goodness. So many. I mean, once they've done a sign for one kid, they've got to do it for the other kids. So you run the risk of losing that customer, but I don't know. That doesn't concern me too much.
Well, I want to develop a mobile app, a phone-based app, where all of this can be managed through the app, where you've got the location and you take a photo of it and it automatically sends it to your customers, and then where it's all sort of right there. We got the first piece of that done by getting the website option. We can now build websites for yard decoration companies. I assume you have a website or not?
Yes. My husband, it was over a year ago when he went through Wix.
Yeah. And built his own.
Huh?
And built his own then.
Yes. And it's not perfect by any means. There's some things about it that I wish were different, but anyway, that's what we've got for now. But I do so much personally just through texting.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. How do you receive payment?
Our website only accepts PayPal at $75. So if they don't have PayPal, or they're paying for an additional night, or there's extra mileage, then I have to explain how they need to still submit for offline payment, and then I contact them for either Venmo, or I get a lot of personal checks mailed to me, which I've not had any issues yet with that. So that's one of the downfalls we're facing with Wix. There's not, it's limiting, but most people have PayPal, I've found.
Yeah, and the fact that you can let people Venmo you or use the Cash App, that's a big deal. So let's talk about stakes. Let's say the ground's, obviously, while the ground's frozen, you're using the yard card stands. Are those the Victorystore stands, or did you build your own?
Mike built some way back in the summer when we have a lot of clay around here.
Mm.
We had two seasons of drought last summer.
Oh.
And a lot, we're on Jefferson County, where we live is basically just on a rock, a big rock. And some of these subdivisions are literally just a thin layer of sod over rock. So he needed to build a few stands on his own that we could use in case of emergency when we just simply couldn't get stakes in the ground. And thankfully, we've not had to do that very often, because I hate them. I hate using stands.
Yeah.
But yeah, since you've come out with stands, but this was before then. So,
so let's say the ground's not hard.
Okay.
What types of stakes do you generally use? Everybody sells different types. We sell the easy stake, the H stake, and then the slim H stake. What's your preferred method?
Our preferred oh shoot, hold on a second.
You lost your video. You look very serious.
Phone call. Sorry. We get the 6x30 H stakes, and I should have brought one up here with me. My husband cuts them so that where the horizontal is, you've got about this much above and maybe this much below. And so our back row is what we call on a medium height. And then our front row is on that real low, where we stick it in the ground. The way I install, and a lot of our yards around here are on inclines, so we don't need that second row to be real high. Okay. Now, if we come across a flat yard, I don't do 2 rows. I just go all the way across. So I put the age on the tall ones. So on your tall,
the slim,
easy stake.
Yeah, the easy stake. Okay.
On the tall. So we do tall, what we consider medium, and then we do short.
Okay.
And then I've got then we have some 6x30s, and then some even wider ones, 12x30s, whatever they are. I've got those huge balloon clusters that you sell. Those are, of course, we don't cut those. Those are even higher behind the happy birthday.
Yeah. So, what about business insurance? Do you carry business insurance? Use your homeowner's insurance?
Yeah. We've not had any issues. We're real careful. We're usually right in the center of the yard. So if someone has a sprinkler system or whatever, we're probably taking a risk not having that insurance, but we've not had any issues yet. And people, if there is something in their yard that they want us to be cautious about, they'll usually give us a heads up.
Okay.
So,
And different types of flair that you have in your collection. What are your favorite pieces of the accessories or flair? Different people call it different things
Yeah.
to use beyond your letters.
Beyond our letters.
I guess let me clarify my question. For those listening, what would be the best bang for their buck to have in their collection, at least from your experience?
You've got a pretty large package of stars, and then you have another one of balloons. Those are essential.
Mm-hmm.
Stars and balloons are essential. The more specific and hearts. The more specific, I don't do themes. I haven't gotten into, I do have a gaming set, but I don't do themes. If they want a Frozen theme or something like that, I'll send them to our competitors, because I just don't want to get into all that. So my stuff is more, now I have several presents. I have several, and I have several cakes. Most of this is your inventory. Like I said, the hearts, the balloon clusters, the stars, I love those candles that you sell.
Yeah.
I love, because I like on that front row where it's their name. I love using 4 candles, 2 tall at an angle and then 2 short beside at an angle. And then I usually have something on either side of that. So, I keep things more general.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really great answer. If a lot of the people listening to you, to us, are just getting started, is there a piece of advice that maybe more than one piece of advice that you would give them other than run as far away as you can fast?
Well, I don't know what this is a people-centered business. So you've got to really make personal contacts, even though I'm just texting with people all the time. And my husband thinks I'm too wordy, but I think there's something to making personal contacts with people and sharing in that excitement with them. That we're not a franchise. I don't want to feel like, I don't want them to feel like they're just dealing with an automated service or a robot or whatever. I want them to feel like, they're dealing with a mom here
Mm-hmm.
with 3 children and 2 other jobs. So I think people need that. They need that connection, and they need you to share that fun and happiness with them. They want that excitement. We're in such just frustrating days. So I would recommend not going hog wild on inventory until you can see if it's going to take off or not. Here's another piece of advice that I've said. Don't copy someone else. Come up with your own scheme. Like, I love the 24-inch
Babus.
Babus, however you say that.
I say Babus. I don't actually know how it's pronounced either.
Or what that word means.
Yeah.
But I love that. I'm a very type A structured person. And I don't like overlapping things. I don't like clutter. That's just me. So I have a certain style, and that's what I go with. And if a customer doesn't prefer that style, they have other options with other companies. But I am staying true to what I do. So when I make decisions on ordering more inventory, I look at my collection and think, is this me, or am I trying to I don't know how I feel about all the sparkly stuff. I'm not a sparkly person. So does that make sense?
It sounds like you have a very clean look, and
I'm very, yes.
And if you think about it, first of all, it's great that people have different artistic styles. You don't want Degas to be Monet. You want everybody to be a little different, and that's because people appreciate that. So I appreciate your point here, and the great thing is between us and I'm sure others, there are so many different types of alphabets and flair that everybody can create their own look and their own feel. And I don't think it's bad when you're first getting started to look at what others are doing and how they're doing it. But over time, you have to develop your own look, especially as the landscape becomes more competitive.
I totally agree. And you also have to know your demographic. There is a definite area of St. Louis that has accepted us as their company. Our competitors have a whole nother area that has accepted them in as their company. So you need to be aware of that as well. So anyway.
All right, final question, sort of final, next to the last question. Do you use any car marketing, car door magnets or car toppers or what do you do to market with your car?
We've got the magnets.
Okay. And you got that as part of your starter kit, I assume? Yes,
and I've since ordered more. So, so we've got 3 vehicles that I tell you what, my main vehicle is my Pacifica. That is my work van.
Yes.
And I hit it was bound to happen. I see deer all the time, and I hit a deer about a month ago. So I just got my Pacifica back because I've been having to use a pickup truck, and that is so yeah.
Any final thoughts that you would like to visit about, or advice you'd like to give?
Oh my goodness.
Let me rephrase the way I usually ask that question. I forgot. If you were to go back 13, 14 months ago, hop in your little time machine, your Pacifica time machine, and go back and give yourself some advice, what would you tell yourself?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I'm sorry, that phone's ringing.
That's a good sign. Phone's ringing, making money.
No, that's the landline. No one calls me on that. As far as doing anything differently, things just hit us so crazy. The timing of our business, I just tell people it was God's timing, because we couldn't have come up with that. We were ready to roll when COVID hit, not knowing that was going to hit in the first place.
Right.
And we just did our thing. We didn't know what we were doing, and we just did it. And we were just trying to fill orders however we possibly. I was doing orders that said like Liam is 9, because that's all I could do, and then putting a few things. So I don't know. Our circumstance is so unusual because the timing couldn't have been any better, and we've just learned as we go. And I don't know what else I would add. I really enjoy doing this, and I'm hoping that it's not just a fad. But if it is, it's been a good ride. So
we have a few new directions that we're going to offer to business companies like yourselves, and that will add some additional sources of sales and revenue for those that choose to try them. So we'll be rolling those out over the next few weeks and months, and we're very excited about that. And Tricia, thank you for being a Victorystore customer. And I know you do business elsewhere also, but we very much appreciate what you do with us. So
I'll tell my husband, because he's the one that did all the research, and he chose your company, and he ordered the starter kit, and then I just kind of took over. That's how I do.
We'll tell him thank you very much. And congratulations on your success in your first year. It's, you start a new business, you don't expect to make money in your first year, and just surviving it is a mark of success. So congratulations on that, and thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
All right, bye-bye.